Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SSRI, first qualifying session for the SPA 24-hour charity race against cancer, which will be held on Saturday and Sunday this week. Tonight promises to be very interesting, considering ACC have just rewarded us with a 1.8 update, which has basically messed up everybody's setups that they've been working on over the last few weeks. And this session promises to be very interesting. I'm joined tonight with Pilco and Brian Larson. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
So, are you looking forward to this session, gents?
Yes, I am. I'm indeed looking forward to this. I regrettably not going to be able to race this, but this proves to be, I think, everyone's bucket list is to do a 24 hours of Spa, and we do get them occasionally throughout the year, but not very many. Because once you've done one, you kind of want to tuck the rig away and leave it for a couple of months, because it is very hard on the mentally and physically for the drivers.
Yeah, Brian, what's your opinion?
Wow, it's a great track, but I must agree with Aaron. 24 hours around this circuit and you are ready to pack it up, because it's going to be mayhem. Definitely, it's going to be rough. And with the teams only having 3 drivers, it's going to be, I wouldn't say impossible, but the words too impossible are very close.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Brian. To be honest, I think you're talking about this Porsche that we see on our screens right now. The Porsche 9, is it the 991 GT3 Cup? The Cup car, the only Cup car in the GT3 in this GT3 event, and it's ran by 3 drivers that are known in the SSR community. With Stijn Pasman behind the wheel, Yannick Muller. And I believe it's Angus Martin as well. So people that have been watching the touring cars, the VTC touring cars as well, will know Angus Martin in the Audi. But it's a 3-man team for 24 hours. That's 8 hours apiece. that's punishment if you think about it.
Yeah, but you got Yannick Muller in the team, and I know he's a really fast driver. But with only 3 drivers and a Cup car, the punishment for the drivers are going to be unbelievable. No help whatsoever from the car, pure driving. So let's see where they end up.
Well, you say that Angus Martin is a very, very well-rounded driver. His scope for driver skill doesn't really know any bounds. He'll jump in anything really. You give him from touring cars to GT3 cars. And saying that as well, even though Yannick Muller, like you say, is really experienced and probably one of the fastest I know on the ACC platform, I mean, Stijn Pasman, I think, has had the luxury of having real life experience on this track. Not in a GT3 car, but I think he's definitely raced here. So he's got that real track experience as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do.
Yeah, but they're not getting any help from the car where the other teams are. But still, again, you got this new update from ACC, as we talked about earlier, and it's going to be interesting to see this qualifying, how it works out. People have been working on the setups for the cars before the setup, and it seems like they have introduced a lot of new features and a lot of new physics upgrades, which means the teams, if they want to win this, I think there's going to be a lot of practice coming up before the race.
Oh yeah, it's going to be frantic and furious as well, no doubt. And I saw a screenshot of a message that Aris put in the Discord, a kind of like a summary of what you can expect from the new update, and the first header was, forget everything you know, essentially. Start clean, wipe the slate clean, start again, which is not exactly, the best words of advice for people that are about to do a 24-hour race of Spa, where you guarantee you're going to have wet as well. I've never seen a 24-hour Spa race where it's been dry all the time. There's always rain, so the drivers are definitely going to factor that in as well, Brian.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see if the race follows the season as we have it now, rain is almost impossible to miss. So, but it's, I would say for the teams really gunning for this, winning this, they definitely have to make a lot of practice these next 48 hours in order to be able to finish up in the top, I would say top 5, maybe top 3.
So as you can see at the moment, we're showing this spotters guide of the 45 teams that have entered this event. Each team is required to put 2 qualifying drivers in the sessions, and the average time of those 2 drivers is worked out and calculated, and that determines the grid position. Any team that doesn't turn up for the qualifying, or a driver misses a qualifying session, that driver automatically gets a 5-minute penalty. So if a full team doesn't turn up for qualifying, they start pretty much at the back of the grid as a 5-minute average.
I think that's fair, Chris. To be, like you've got to put your drivers in for qualifying, and it's a way to to start the proceedings and to take it seriously. I know it's for charity, but it is a very serious event, and you kind of got to qualify for such an occasion.
What we mustn't forget as well is, although this is a charity race and it is sort of being dealt with for fun, it is still part of a 5/6 session championship. This is round 5. Round 6 might be cancelled at the moment because we had to delay this session by almost a month. And yeah, I've lost my train of thought now, sorry. Currently each team was required to submit an entry fee of €25 to take part in this. And I can't do maths in my head to tell you how much that would have equated to.
I can tell you it's a lot of money.
It is a lot. It is a lot of money, but the teams are also doing the background sponsorship and donations, and currently we're just under €10,000 raised so far, and that's before the event starts. Wow. So the Against Cancer charity are getting a good amount of money off these drivers that are going to dedicate 24 hours to sitting in a rig. So a lot of respect goes to these teams.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing, Chris. To be honest. Yeah, we'll carry on board with Luca Berg. I believe this is for the number 2 Aston Martin Vantage. Behind the wheel of this car, they've got 5 drivers submitted on board with Luca Berg, but we've got Robbie Stableford, one of the youngest, fastest drivers I know on the sim racing scene at the moment. He's going to be he's a future star, definitely. You got Callum Cripps, Ross McGregor, and Stamankovic, who I don't really know, and that's no disrespect to him, but I just don't do that much racing myself. But Ross McGregor I definitely do know from the from past SSR GT3 races as well. So this is a very, very strong team that they fielded here for the Rocket Simsport Aston Martin, and I kind of feel like they're going to be one of the front runners in this 24 hours. But anything can happen. You never know. Look at that. Just a rifto there through Lecom. I love it. Back end coming out. Definitely one way to warm up your tyres, Brian.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm just looking at Yannick Muller in the cop car. He's not far off, and I love the Porsche, so I must admit I'm a Porsche guy all the way through.
Are you a fanboy?
I'm a fanboy. Definitely. Ask anybody. Porsche is my favorite car to race because it's all race, all track good car.
So let me get this right. In the space of 10 minutes, I've learned that you love Porsches and you're Belgian.
Well, it's 50-50. You have to get a little bit more north just to find out where I'm from, but definitely Belgium.
Is that car not running the wrong number? It's got 444 on it. Should it not be 53 for the Beetle?
Oh yeah, white with the Is it the blue and red stripe? Oh, yeah. Bradley, get off my back, man. Now I got that first. On board here with the who is this? This is the number 88, Park Firma. I do apologise if I get this wrong. The Park Firma Endurance Racing team with the Aston Martin, and they seem to be doing fantastic at the moment. Nearly up 4 tenths. They haven't actually set a lap time yet, so they're definitely just getting the tyres warm. But this is good to see. Really, really good to see.
Fastest lap there by Brennan Schmidt with a 2:19. Just been usurped by Ian Harvey with a 2:18.9. Not much in it, but definitely a long way off the practice times that people were doing, where we've seen 2:16s in our practice server.
Yeah, and I think that's, and I have to just add on top of that, if you're not familiar and you're thinking, well, if you're looking at the temperature and the track conditions and they're pulling out, 2 seconds of what they would normally get, if you're not familiar with the update, this is kind of the results that you can expect. So if you get on the game and find yourself 2 seconds slower, don't panic, is what they're saying, because that's the new norm. So this is what the kind of times we're expecting to see.
Look at a good question. Sorry, Ruben Williams in the SRB1 racing team. Currently a half second up on his previous fastest time.
Just looking through the spotters guides, loads of teams to go through, fantastic liveries as well. Try and look for the 53 car, the Ocho car. If I can find it. I can't find it.
SRB1 racing team.
Yeah, no, that's a full team as well, and it's full of people that I can't pronounce. So if we just go with first names only here, Ruben, Nico, Stephen, Frederick, Dieter, and Jean-Paul, or Jean-Paul if you're English.
Well done for that, Philco.
Thank you.
I should have go at the first names. Now it's Brian's turn to have a go at the surnames.
Well, I wouldn't really recommend me telling you about all the surnames, but I must agree with the first names would be really ideal for me as well.
Or dear with the is this the TRHAC racing team here, the number 73 with Ian Harvey behind the wheel. They're currently, it looks like they're just slightly up on their time here. Brings it over the line, just gets into the just below 18.5 there, which is a pretty good time considering Barnett's slightly improving. They're gaining a lot of time in this first sector, a couple of tenths there. And when I first started racing on this game, I always thought you'd have to extend over the curb, kind of straddle it a little bit. But then I started watching YouTube guides on how to race at Spa, because everybody does that. And they told me no, that's a lie. It's a faux pas that you should not straddle that curb, but you lose a lot of time. You want to keep your car tyres on the tarmac. That's something we should definitely be looking out for.
Thanks for the education there, Philco. I still probably you're the slowest ever driver around this track.
I don't think it's got anything to do with turn 1 though.
Well, turn 1 on Saturday is going to be very interesting, because as we know, within the space of a few hundred yards from the start, that's where the race is won in a 24-hour race.
Yeah, I watched the stream back, and I heard you say that. You win a 24-hour race in the first corner, which is true.
Absolutely.
Wow, look at that paint job. That's the Maniac Azure Aston Martin Vantage there with again, can't pronounce the first name, so I'm going to say Barnett, because that's pretty self-explanatory there. The number 267, and that's a fantastic paint job. Currently 5 tenths up on his previous lap time there. This would put him on a very temporary pole position. We're expecting the lap time to drop slightly as the drivers familiarise themselves with the new update that's just come out. So yeah, back to the chalkboards with their tuning setups at the moment, I would feel. Yeah, and just getting updates from beautiful broadcaster, Mr. Proudly, telling us that track temperatures are 18, which I would say is, I think, perfect, ideal conditions for qualifying here at Spa.
9:30 in the evening as well. So hopefully, when qualifying finishes, we should just be in dusk.
I was going to say a bottle of champers, but that just didn't. You can't hear Stephen. He said the pub, and I said champers. It's kind of like that north-south divide.
Well, we can't have too much to drink because as we get a new fastest lap of 2:18.3 from Matej Barnett in the Maniac team.
Well, this is first on Rob Baldering there in the 720. 720, McLaren 720. Gotta love that there. And he did improve his time? I can't see. He did improve his time, very slightly though. Quite a few people in the pit actually. And it's very strange to see that. Well, 4 teams were in the pit, maybe trying to make adjustments to their setups and scrambling to try and figure out what to do to improve their setups. But you've got to think you really can't get in the way of anybody at Spa, can you? It's a 7-kilometer track here in Brian Larson's homeland, and
you can't turn one. You can't turn one.
You can turn one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can do.
Sorry, Phil, to keep interrupting you, but we've got to remember that tonight that these guys are limited to 5 tyre sets for practice and qualifying, so it's not like they're unlimited. Yeah, so that might be why some people are still hovering around in the pits. They've not had time to set the temps properly in the practice session. Some people will have only just downloaded the update, so they were panicking before they came on to enter the session. We have got the full 15 people in that were registered for this session, so that's good. So I'll let you carry on now, Bill. Go. Oh, Brian, I'm not bothered.
No, but it's still about these setups. Being a winner of a 24-hour race in an LMP1 car a couple of years ago.
How many years ago?
Oh, 3 years ago. 3 years ago. I can send you a text with the number 3. I must admit I was lucky to be in a team where we had 2 guys working, I don't know, 15-18 hours a day on the setup, which actually ended up winning us the race. Well, it's just what it is now, because you have this really new update with a lot of physics, and I mean, you got the qualifying now, but come race day on Saturday, this is all going to change, because with all the guys, depending on how vigorously to work, how hard they want this, we are going to see a lot of changes, because people are going to be working really hard on new setups, and just out of this last update. Sadly, it had to come now, but I think it's going to change a lot from this qualifying for the race in the weekend. Is going to change a lot, because if the people want to spend the time doing the practice, getting a new setup which fits the car, fits the tires, fits the driving style, compared to the old setup, then I think they're going to win a lot, definitely.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Brian, and I think it's important to emphasise as well. You know, I would say that testing and tuning for a 24-hour race, regardless of where it is, I would say starts 2 weeks before race. Before the race actually is, I reckon you start tampering with the car 2 weeks before, and then it starts to steadily increase in terms of how much time is invested into practicing. But I can guarantee you that nobody starts practicing 2 days before a 24-hour event.
No,
maybe Chris does, but the rest of us don't.
sorry. But this new update, right? It's all. I'm not saying everybody is blank, but there's definitely going to be a lot of work done in the background for the next 2 days. People's got an idea how the car has to behave, how it should behave in like a sprint race, 30-minute race, 1 hour race. But we're talking for a 24-hour race. We're talking about anywhere between 3 and I think 6 drivers in the team where they actually have a car they can race. You know, some people are going to be saying like, I would like a little bit more toe in on the back end, or I would like a little bit more camber on the front end. But in order to get a complete car for everybody to race, everybody has to make like sort of like adjustment in the racing to get the car to work for the team.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I just want to say on board though, is that Ian Harvey has come across the line in the Garage 59 Aston Martin. He was up about 7 temps, would have put his team pole in this first qualifying session for the 24 hours of Spa there. I think that was a fantastic lap there, and would love to see what Luca Burke's response is in the Team Rocket. I think that they're in an Aston Martin as well, aren't they? Yeah, they are. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do to respond to that. But that is a great start from Ian Harvey for the number 73. Is it number 73 car? Yes, it is the number 73 car. Well, I was listening to what you were saying. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't going to just burst in there. I was listening to what you were saying there, Brian. And I think you're absolutely right. And when it comes, you know, in my personal experience, when it comes to the last 2 days before a big endurance event, you kind of just polishing off those rough edges, maybe making a tweak, slight tweaks to the tune, but mostly it's about running laps and just being comfortable with the car and just keeping it fresh in your memory. But like, you know, these guys are not going to have that luxury this time round. They're going to have to maybe rewrite the setup in some circumstances. Depends on how extreme their tuning is. I know that, you know, some people like to live their lives by min-maxing setups, and some people like to, you know, just be nice and gentle with it. But it depends. It all depends. And yeah, I think that with the arrival of this new update, and the uncertainty of what you can get at Spa, I think we could be in for a real surprise at who wins this event.
Yeah, but it's I think qualifying is just like to get an idea who is actually now better with the car, got a better setup maybe. But come Saturday, if you're looking at the update list, you got maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 points where they updated the cars, brought in new cars and stuff like that. So it's all within the team, getting everybody to feel happy with the car, with the new setup, whatever you would want to call it. But it's going to be a hectic 48 hours for the guys doing this race, definitely.
Yeah, I can agree with you more there. Yeah, if you've noticed all those green time differences right now, that means that a lot of people are starting to improve. We're on board with Adrian Nowak, who is a full 1.3 seconds above his time. What's that? Barnett takes a provisional pole here, but I kind of feel that Novak is gonna pass that. Just goes up to into the top 3, still 4/10 of Barnett's time there, and so that was a fantastic time. The only team to get into the 2:17s just with a 9:15 there, 0.915, so just getting in there. But if that's enough with only 2 minutes remaining on the clock, remember guys, I think there's 2 qualifying sessions, and they will take an average of both drivers from each team to set the grid as well. So it's still the same way as qualifying works. The faster you go, the better results really. And that was a fantastic lap from Barnett.
Yeah, so you're correct in what you're saying. There are 2 qualifying sessions. There's 2 tonight and 2 tomorrow night.
Sorry, there's 4.
Yeah. Sorry to pick you up on that, Pilco, but I sort of knew what you meant.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm just explaining to our viewers on in the Tube of Eunice. Apparently you're not going to the pub tonight at all, my friend.
It's going to be a Grumpy Jack at home, mate.
Grumpy Jack at home. Did you drink Grumpy Jack in Belgium?
No, we don't get that in Denmark, no. Oh yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Oh, it was quite interesting race at Brand Touch after that.
It's actually, Brian, it's quite interesting to if we're looking at the full 15 teams here, the time difference between the lap times is, I would say, it's quite big for such a tightly packed event with 2:17.9s at the top and 2:23s running at the top. But I think the last team though, the Yannick Muller in the Porsche Cup car, is kind of a variable. I would happily admit they're going to give it their all, and they're probably going to end up with bleeding thumbs by the end of this race. But I kind of feel like that car is going to be slightly off the pace a little bit. But it doesn't matter because it's for a great cause. They're doing it for a different cause. They're not doing it to be competitive. They're doing it because it's a car that they know will push them to their limits.
I think what'll be interesting on Saturday and Sunday, if we can get is it Stin? You pronounce his name.
Yeah.
If we can get him into the commentary booth just to explain his reasons for driving the cup car. I sort of already know the backstory, but I'd like for him to tell everybody his reasons and why he's entered this event and why he's doing the car he is, and particularly why he's got the livery he has. So.
Yeah, but I must admit, with the team is in, especially with Yannick Muller. Sorry, I don't have a sort of like a love for him, but I know he's fast. So I think he'll be working for the next 2 days, getting a setup that fits the Porsche better, to be able to get into the more disc competitive times, because they are off the pace, definitely. But it is a difficult car to drive, so starting there and then getting into setup. I'm not saying they're going to be in the top, but it takes quite a bit of practice to drive this Porsche. So
I think what we're also going to see over the next couple of days is the teams that are good at setting up a car will certainly come to the forefront, specifically with this new update.
Definitely. It seems like the Aston Martin is going to be the car to beat. Top 4 Aston Martin.
Oh, there's 13 entered in the race.
Oh,
Quite a popular car for some reason. I can tell you there's one Honda. Got to have the ability.
Which is not so popular.
So that concludes tonight's first qualifying session, and obviously we've been talking that much we haven't even spotted who was the fastest there.
I think it was Bernat. I'm really getting that wrong, but I know who I'm on about.
That's fine. It's just the viewers haven't got a clue what you're talking about, Pilco.
Yeah, car number 267
That's their problem.
Matej Banat.
Thank you very much. That's a beautiful pronunciation.
I try my best.
So we will be back online in about quarter of an hour with the next session, where we have, and I'm stalling for time here while I find the actual figures out. I'm not going to sing. You're all right. I'm going to make everybody's ears bleed more than I already have. So if everybody turns up for this session, we have 24 drivers in the next session. So a bit more crowded. And you'll be pleased to know, Brian, that your favourite Beetle will be in this next session as well.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
So I think that sort of concludes the first session. So we will see you again for the in 15 minutes time. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what's going to happen between now and the next session on YouTube, whether it's just going to carry on. I'm hoping Steve's going to talk to me in my ear and tell me. Right, okay, I'm led to believe the stream will carry on as it currently is, and then when we go live with the practice and qualifying, you'll hear our beautiful voices yet again. So see you in quarter of an hour. We're all going to take a little break. Steve's going to distribute his Scrumpy Jack. Pilco's going to start learning how to pronounce people's surnames. And I'm going to shut up. That a timer that tells us how long we've got. Good evening to session 2 of our qualifying. I've mixed all those words up so you can rearrange them however you want to make a sensible sentence for the SPA 24-hour charity race for Against Cancer, which will be held on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. What proved to be interesting for the first qualifying session, I believe the fastest was 2:17.9. Could be completely wrong there, but you know, you'll get used to my babbling commentary. I'm joined by, with Steve Proudly and Brian Larson for tonight. Steve, as you know, is from Manchester, and Brian's from lovely southern France. So, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's good to be here. Session 2 of the qualifying. Going to get underway after this practice session. Literally just under 14 minutes left to go. We had 15 cars out on track in the first session, as many of you probably saw. Chris, we're expecting, is it 25 for this session?
24, my friend. 24.
24. I was being a bit greedy there. But we have Mr. Ballinger at the moment, fastest in practice at the moment with a 2:19.3. Expecting a little bit more from this gentleman from EGT Challenge community in Canada. Great driver. I watch him race once a fortnight as I stream some of their championships as well. But yeah, the times, gentlemen, were a little bit slower, weren't they, after that little update? I know we keep talking about that update, but it's had quite a big impact on tonight's proceedings, really.
Yeah, with under 2:18 just barely. So definitely the teams are struggling, to be sure. So, but let's see how these guys worked it out. Maybe they had a little bit of time fixing their setups, waiting for this second run. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you make there, because obviously, you know, these guys, they're all part of teams and they're out there, and some of them, you know, quite literally, they've come home from work today, installed the update, jumped in the car, and literally they've not had long at all to become accustomed to what is technically a new physics engine almost. It's a new handling, new tyre model anyway, for the very least, and there's a lot of comments that the car is feeling different to how it used to. You know, Chris, do you think that after that first qualifying session, some of those guys will have had the chance to feed things back, and these guys, they'll be frantically now, I would imagine, testing new things and actually doing the thing that you should never really do at this point, late stage, as you're coming towards qualifying, and they'll probably be changing things up.
They certainly will, and I think between now and Saturday's race, we'll see a good sort of race to see who can set the car up back to how it should be, or how it felt before the update. Steve, I've got to tell you this. Apparently you're coming quite quiet on the stream.
Oh, well, that's no good, is it? Let me turn my gain up, and let's see if we can get me out loud and proud. That should be a bit better if someone can just let us know if the volume's gone up enough, or whether you would actually want to be muted, and maybe that's the best option, I'm not sure.
No, we don't want you muted. We want to hear your beautiful Mancunian voice that sounds like you're from Yorkshire.
If I'm from Manchester, Brian's from France.
It's alright, the previous session he was from Belgium, so we're not sure if that's actually an improvement for him or not.
Yeah, SRHI or SSRi as we are now known, regular. We've got Denise Pope out on the server. Just to explain, for those that don't know, we keep getting that screen freeze at the moment. That's nothing to do with our end, that is the server, as cars are joining the server with liveries. There is that momentary stutter, and yeah, it's nothing we can do about that, but once everybody's in the server, we should all be good.
I'm being told that your voice is now beautiful.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I may just alter the tones a little bit more, but I don't want to get people too excited in chat. I want you to focus on the racing, on the qualifying tonight, not my voice too much. Although, you know, I'll probably be the most informative person here for you.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
No, I mean, it's Chris. I mean, while we were in the practice session, let's just give a shout out to some of the admin, and not just the admin, the team that is behind organising such an event as this, because I've been involved in other charity events myself, and boy oh boy are they stressful. There is a massive workload to it. There's a lot of responsibility and countless, the commitment that you have to give something like this, because you don't enter into something like this half-heartedly, do you, from an organiser's point of view. There's a lot of work done in. So do you want to give a shout out to a few people that have been involved at the team and what they've done, and
Really?
Yes.
No, I will do. Sorry. I do apologise. For those of you not familiar with me, I am try and be a bit of a joker. The admin team behind this, we've been beautifully assisted by SSR, hence why we've joined communities now. So you've got, I'm not giving them any particular order, so please don't feel like I am. On the spot, yeah, cheers mate. Number one. So we've got Patrick Vance, who has been in charge of mainly sorting out the server for us and making sure that the entry lists have been inputted correctly and the sessions are right. Plus he does a few other jobs that I've forgotten about. Chris Vickers, who has managed all the liveries for us and put a livery pack together, which is stunning liveries you'll see on the stream and on the spotters guide that's available. He's created that for us. Bas van Mellis has done a great job of organising the charity. We mustn't forget that this race is for the Against Cancer charity, and I'll just give you a bit of an update. We have so far raised nearly €10,000 before the event. Each team was required to submit a €25 entry fee per team, not per driver, just per team. And other people have donated via their teams. We do encourage you to look out for the Against Cancer charity. It's againstcancer.nl. We'll have a bit more insight into what their organisation does on Saturday. We're hoping that the organiser from the charity will join us on the stream and explain what this money will do to their charity. So we really do have to thank Bas for putting us in touch with that charity. I suppose I better mention that Steve Proudly bloke, he's sorting out the broadcast for us. The race on Saturday will be broadcast for the full 24 hours. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depends on your point of view, it won't have commentary for the full 24 hours. But we will do as much commentary and talking waffle as much as we can throughout 24 hours, which you must appreciate is just going to be exhausting for people to listen to. Dave Hedges has been supporting in the background with advice, and Anthony Terhorst, who isn't actually an admin but has supported us by sorting out a much more beefy server for us, so we are hoping that we don't get any server issues. It has been noted over the last few months. Another community did a 24-hour race and they had to red flag it after a period of time because the server crashed. So fingers crossed we don't have those experiences. Aaron Van Drunen has spent the time in setting the weather for the actual event and the weather for tonight and tomorrow night. Both qualifying sessions have identical, all 4 qualifying sessions I should say, have identical settings, so the qualifying is as fair as we can possibly make it. Obviously Kunos haven't helped us at all tonight. And if I've missed anybody out, I really do apologise, but it's not intentional. But I'm sure somebody will tell me in chat that I've missed somebody.
Yeah, and thanks Brian for helping us out with the commentary. I know Chris.
I forgot about the Frenchman.
No, absolutely. It's an absolutely awesome, it's an awesome undertaking, and to have raised nearly €10,000 before we actually start racing is a hell of an achievement. It's fantastic, and like I say, massive round of applause for everybody involved in organising. And welcome to everybody in the stream. We've got Kieran Vidago who's telling us that the tyres are super fun. They move around a lot. We've got EGT Challenge TV. Welcome. Positive Perceptions, Mark Roddenberry. Hello, Mark. Hope you're well, buddy. It's going to be exciting. I mean, just again, sorry to put you on the spot, throw you under the bus, Chris, but I'm gonna.
Not sorry.
No, I'm not really at all. But the qualifying sessions, can you tell us and anybody that doesn't know how we decide who goes in what split, what session, why, we've got 24 cars in this session, 23 at the moment, I think. But why, how you decide who goes in what session?
Yeah, I will. Oh, you want to actually tell everybody?
Yes,
sorry.
please, yes, please.
All right. Sorry, my friend. I did forget to mention a very important element, so I need to get that out of the way first. The stewards team, they're going to be very busy in turn one, and I keep going on about turn one on Saturday. But we have got a really big stewards team that are going to live steward the whole event. We don't have full course yellows for this event. That's just far too much, but we have got plans in place. What was the question, Steve? Have I suitably stalled? No, it was about qualifying, wasn't it?
I actually believed you then. I did believe you, yeah. So how would you sort everybody out for qualifying, and how do people get into the various splits?
So, as I've mentioned, we've got 4 qualifying sessions. We open up qualifying approximately 2 weeks before registration for qualifying. Approximately 2 weeks before the start, before the event, and teams have to register have to register just 2 drivers, and they can register for whichever qualifying session they want. Hence why the first qualifying session had 15. This qualifying session should have 25. The next 2 qualifying sessions, I think, have got 25 in each, which is the maximum we determined for the session, or for each session. And with the 2 drivers registering times, we will average those 2 times, and that will determine their grid slot for the race on Saturday. Any team that doesn't register a driver, or only has 1 driver that registers, the missing driver, so to speak, will automatically get a 5-minute time allocated to them. So if a team doesn't turn up at all, they're already 5 minutes time, and more or less guaranteed to be at the back of the grid.
Okay, well done. Thank you for talking us through that and making it even foggier than it was before, but good effort.
No problem, anytime. We're looking at Brian's favourite Beetle, aren't we now?
My ears are bleeding right now, so thanks for that, Chris.
No problem.
You touched on it in the first qualifying session regarding this Cup car, and I totally agree with Brian. We've got some very able drivers behind the wheel of that Cup car, but it is going to be very, very hard work for the full 24-hour session. I think, especially during the night when concentrations becomes key and it can start to lapse. When you don't have those driver aids that might just save your bacon once or twice, it's a tall order, and hats off to these guys for doing it. And they've got the pace. That car's not a slow car. Don't be surprised to see them somewhere up the leaderboard after qualifying. It's just the consistency that may be difficult over a 24-hour period. I think it's going to be tough for the guys to maintain those lap times without making the mistakes, and that's not me saying that they're not capable of that as a driver. It's just that car is going to be one heck of a car to try and keep on the straight and narrow, as it were, for the full 24 hours. I agree with you there, Brian, on that one. It's going to be a tough one, but hats off to them for accepting that challenge and putting themselves in that position, because they asked to race that car, and Chris and the guys said, yeah, if you want to enter that car, let's have it, take it away.
Yeah, it's
Brian's having wine at the moment.
sorry. Now, I'm just looking through these update fixes for the game, and my eyes just sort of landed on improved launch control. At least they're going to have a little slight of advantage there, but other than that, they definitely need to get to work on improving the setup after this update. But it's at least it's a 24-hour race. Their disadvantage, is only 3 drivers, so it's going to put a lot of strain on them. I see the Steen is down in 15th place, I believe, which is not bad, but 14th place. But yeah, it's not definitely not going to be easy. But seeing the top 3, 4, 5, 6, top 6 is doing 2:18s, and that's not tue far off the first qualifying.
Well,
so let's say
car number 208, Brian, just to jump in there, he's gone under the 218s. He did on his last lap. He did a 217.8.
Yeah,
so
we're down to the first split in qualifying. So that's yeah. Let's see if they can actually make it stick throughout this qualifying session coming up.
Yeah, I think with a few more cars on track, obviously Spa's a decent sized circuit, so there shouldn't be any trouble finding your own space during the qualifying session. But I think there may be even more opportunity for a little bit of a tour with a few more cars on track. It might be easy to find that slipstream as previously we only had sort of 14-15 cars on track. It's just a little bit harder to find someone maybe involuntarily to give you a tour. So maybe they may have that advantage, but again, it just goes back to the updates. Whoever can get those tyre pressures right, get everything sorted, and get back out on track and do what they need to do regarding the qualifying tonight, because that's what it's all about. Qualifying for an endurance race, it's important, but it's not the be all and end all, is it, of the race? You're not going to lose the race just because you qualified poorly. There's 24 hours to make your way through the grid, so it's not all lost, but it is a very good measuring stick for your opposition to see what you're up against.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm hoping that you got the Simsport racing team. We haven't seen them. They should be in this session, and they're actually in the Aston Martin, so I'm guessing that with a bit of luck and a bit of toe, they should be able to be up there at least, I would say, top 3. But depending on who is actually qualifying, knowing some of the guys, top 5, top 3, top 5, yeah, with a good toe, they should be up there, definitely.
Yeah, well, just for you, Brian, there we have Regan Mitchell, who is doing the qualifying this evening in the number 23 Aston Martin for Simsport Racing International in that fantastic looking livery. Have to say, Steve Haley from Digital Motorsport has done a fantastic design on that car, and it looks very, very impressive, and hopefully it'll look just as impressive at the end of the race on Sunday morning when we finish. But yeah, I think you're right, Regan's got some pace, but there are a lot of people in this server with some serious pace, as we saw in the practice session there, and I don't think there's any foregone conclusions. Again, we keep harping onto it, the changes that have happened in this update, it's anybody's. It's just about who's got that setup, who can adapt the fastest, and who can get that clear lap and get that time in. But like I said, it's not all won and lost, is it, Chris? It's all going to be to play for on Saturday. This is just to get out there and show people what times you've got, really.
Absolutely, and we all know it's won and lost in the first corner of an endurance race. I keep saying it, and you know full well there's going to be incidents there. Steve, I need to point out that there is a fantastic Honda in this session.
What Narcox
937, funnily enough. The Van Nieuwkerk Simsport racing team. I don't know who manages them at the moment. Alright, might be me. And of course, we can rely on Nard not to put the correct skin in.
Absolutely, mate. No livery on that Honda.
No livery.
That livery, the imagination must have run wild with whoever designed that.
It really did. I think he was in a bit of a bad mood at the time, but I can't be sure.
Oh, it's a dark day.
Oh, thank goodness that we've got somebody else driving number 1 on Saturday. Might load the right livery.
So, if you want to give us a shout out in the chat, who you supporting, what are your hopes and aspirations, and where you think they'll be in the qualifying session, and maybe where you think they'll finish in the race. Obviously, we've got a lot of guys, Chris, in this race this weekend, as you pointed out earlier. It is part of the SSRI Endurance Championship. So, what percentage of the field are championship runners, and how many invitational drivers or drivers have turned up for the charity event, would you say?
I wouldn't say invitational. I think we just opened it up and let anybody turn up, to be honest. You know, it
I was just
wasn't an invite.
I was trying to make them feel special, mate,
Yeah. Let's be honest.
You've charged them for the privilege, so I thought I'd give them something back.
Yeah, but they've come and joined us, so that's special enough, isn't it?
No, special's a word I use around you, Chris, for you.
Thank you, my friend. So I think you've just put me on the spot. Well, no, I don't think you have put me on the spot. I'd say about 50% championship contenders within this. There are quite a few that have dropped out throughout the championship. There's some that didn't want to do the 24-hour race with 3 drivers. Some in the early championship race were only with 2 drivers and couldn't find a third. But we have managed to get 45 teams signed up for this race, and 45 was our limit for running a single server. If we'd have got another 20 teams registered, we would have tried to run a second server, and that would have been interesting, wouldn't it, Steve? How would we manage that?
Oh, well, yes, it would have been difficult, but we did have plans in place. We were covered should the occasion and opportunity arise to do that. Yeah, it's going to be a good one, and we're already seeing low 218s in there as benchmark laps. But I think Brian was quite right. I think we're going to get down into the 217s, and I think we'll probably see. I'm going to stick my neck on the line. I think we'll see at least the top 6 all into the 217s in this session.
Yeah, got some fast drivers in this session, haven't we?
Yeah, it should be. Should be, definitely. We've got some really quick drivers out there now, so and hopefully, coming up to the end of the qualifying, tracks should improve. So maybe people's got a little bit of time to maybe tweak the setups a little bit to make it work with these new updates. So, but I must agree with you. I'm thinking top 6 should be within the 217s, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm going to stick my neck out further, and I think we'll be getting a sub 217.5, so I think we'll be in the low 217s. I think the pace is hot. They've gone out the blocks. They've really, they're charging for it now, and we can see some of them running around in groups, looking for that little bit of a slipstream that we were talking about earlier. So I think definitely we're going to get some 217s. We've got 218.2 at the moment with Van der Hoek that's on the screen at the moment, and probably totally pronounced that completely wrong, but he's just about to finish this lap, and he's another 4/10 up at the moment, as we can see, half a second almost, as you can just see his delta time moving up and down slightly on the leaderboard there. But he's going to cross the line, he's going to improve, and he's going to go into the 2:17.8, so that about matches the fastest lap in the last qualifying session, I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah, it was just under 218 in the previous session, so yeah. But we still got other people coming up. Janos Hakula in 3rd place is 3.5, 3.4, 3.5 now. He's going to be close. So yeah, definitely. I'm thinking top 6 will be under 218. Maybe. If we're lucky, we're still missing the Simsport Simsport.
He's just gone second. He's just gone second.
Regan Mitchell's gone second now. Yeah, and his stealth time is slightly up. So yeah, it's going to be close in the top 6. I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Bentley that we're watching now, Bellinger from EGT Challenge Canada. This is, he's a quick driver. The Bentley's a good car around Spa. We know it's got some pace. It's not a bad car. I don't think the Bentley's necessarily the best qualifying car. I might be wrong. Shoot me down in chat if I am. But I think it's more about the race at the weekend for the Bentley. I think it'll come good in the race, and as long as he can do the best he can tonight and maybe keep that in the top 10 for qualifying, then he puts himself in the best position, I think. But I don't think we'll see a Bentley on pole position this week.
No, it seems like the Aston Martin is the car of choice right now. Is sitting in first and second place, Ferrari in third place, Bentley in fourth. So regarding to setup with the update, and as we talked about before, some guys are probably bleeding your ears out for me mentioning it, the update, but it is a massive part of this race, simply because of all the settings with the car, with the setups, and all this would actually joins in. So even if you think you've got a good car, they come with this new update, and you have to not maybe completely redo the setup, but you really have to tweak the setup to get it running back as you want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little bit of an outburst there, laughing because I think Chris Hill is communicating with me through chat, telling me that I'm wrong, and also Aaron, was it Aaron or was it? Yeah, Aaron said to Horst will set it to 15. Is that? I just have a couple of grams or whatever he's on.
Well, I've responded to that with at Mizano.
Oh yes, yeah. Chris Hill acting as chat monitor this evening, doing a fantastic job as ever, provoking conversation and fights later on.
Yeah, let's not mention pizza just yet, because there are some RIP 101 team in the chat who will call me out for the pizza that they owe me.
I must admit, the endurance races, there's always a lot of mention of pizza, Chris. Is there a backstory to that?
There's absolutely a backstory to that, and I'm not going to tell you. No. So
I'll take you my postcode for pizza later, mate.
well, good luck with that. We don't deliver to France.
No, I know. I'm in luck.
So, June last year, we, as SRHI, our former community name, entered into the PPR charity race, and they were running 2 tiers, and they were only broadcasting the top tier 1. So we decided as a community to offer our assistance to broadcast tier 2 with some very amateur commentary, and there was actually quite a professional chap on there. I must get in touch with him at some stage. And during the course of that, there's a team that's just commented in chat called RIP 101, and they did all the qualifying. The qualifying was on a Saturday, on the morning of the race, if I remember rightly. They, on the morning of the race, had a major sim rig fault, and were running around trying to get parts to be able to join the qualifying session, then obviously join the subsequent race. But unfortunately they didn't make it. But they stayed in the stream commenting and joining the commentary team every so often throughout the 12-hour event. For a team that were hopeful to race but couldn't. And during that course of that commentary, we had a discussion about pizza, and we both forget, in all honesty, who promised the pizza to who. So that's why Oliver's commentating in there that it's the other way around, Chris. And Oliver is from Denmark. Do you know Denmark at all, Brian?
Ah, a little bit.
Have you ever visited there?
Yes. Many times.
So that's the backstory about the pizza. So I think we did have a hashtag pizza going at one point, which should say that RIP 101 will take your pizza order now.
We're just watching Regan Mitchell at the moment, who he's been almost 2 tenths up at one point, but he's just lost a little bit in this sector here, but still just over a tenth up. But he's going to have to find at least 2 or 3 tenths, I believe, to get that top spot, because Van der Hoek is he keeps going green sectors. He's got a little bit more if he can put that lap together, but he's struggling at the moment just to get enough to match that time. He's not far away, don't get me wrong, he's literally a couple of tenths off, but 2 tenths is 2 tenths. It's a lot to find when you're pushing as hard as these guys are at the moment, and I'm not quite sure whether he's going to find it or not with just 6 minutes left on the clock, literally time for another 3 laps, well 3 laps to be done, and it'll depend if they need to go back to the pits for a fresh set of tyres at all, because obviously the outlap is immense here. It's a long old outlap at Spa, and with only 5 minutes and 40 odd seconds left. He's going to improve this time. He's 3 tenths up now as he crosses the line, and he does go fastest. Just.
Not watching that.
No, that is a close time. But I think Van der Hoek's going to. I think he may just try and respond to that, and I think he's got enough in the tank to do it.
I think what's amazing about that lap of Regan's there is the 24th driver has just joined the qualifying session. So that shouldn't have, not shouldn't have been, we can't actually control it, but he wasn't really allowed to do that for the lag spike reason. So if there was a lag spike and Regan's just felt that while setting that fast time, that's awesome.
Is there a penalty for him joining the server at this late stage when he shouldn't really have joined it? I'm chucking you under a bus again. But is that something the stewards will look at? Will anything happen there? It was in the rules, was it, not to join during the live commentary session?
Live commentary session, not
qualifying session.
I can't remember what's in the rules, but I'm sure we can come to some sort of financial agreement that they donate a bit of extra money.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a fine is just in order there for the bills for the commentators.
Oh yeah.
And Oliver's just commenting in the chat that Max Verstappen also commentated in that race. That's very true. He did. He did join us for the broadcast. Or it was somebody that sounded a lot like him.
It was probably parked up on the outside of a turn, defending.
Oof. Yeah, that's just going to spark a lot of discussion now, isn't it? I hope Mark Newtons isn't watching this.
Oh no, he won't be watching.
He'll be in bed now, won't he?
Just worth a mention for Mark and the E-Seniors team that have joined us for this race. It's good to see them out and racing, and hopefully they can all manage the 24 hours before curfew. Yeah, good to see such a mix of communities coming together, Chris, to join SSRI in the endeavours. We see somebody parked the wrong way there. Regan Mitchell still holding on to that pole position, and at the moment, as you can see from the sector time, he is improving. He's still finding a bit of time as he's just crossed the line. He didn't improve last lap, but this lap he's going now, his sector time is green and he is going slightly quicker. So maybe he's got a little bit more in the tank, maybe he's settling into the car, maybe they've made a few tweaks and just got the car settled a bit more. I was watching the SSRI team chat earlier, and they were working frantically. Kieran, Dave, Regan, all working really hard. Pinchy came home a little bit later and asked a lot of questions, but I'm sure Chris will be up to speed by Saturday, or by the time it's his turn to qualify. I'm guessing Chris will he be on tomorrow night? Chris, do you know? Have you got the list?
I can have a look. I don't think Chris is qualifying, to be honest. Don't recall seeing his name in any of the listing. I think it's Dave Hedges, isn't it?
Okay.
Let's
Drifter Dave.
Drifter Dave, if you say so.
Absolutely.
I can't see him in session 1, so I'm looking at session 2. Apologies. Why am I apologising? Don't need to.
Look at that, we've got second and third place tied on times. Exactly the same.
Wow. Yeah.
I've also got to point out, Steve, that this isn't for pole position. Just thought I'd let you know that.
Thank you.
Well, they do it in the sprint races on Formula 1, don't they? This isn't for pole position, this is just to see who starts the race first.
Right. Okay, Chris.
I can't see.
See Passpont at the moment in 23rd place with a best lap of a 2:23 at the moment. So a little bit of time to come from Stin, but that's as we said earlier, it's a difficult car. It's fast in a straight line. It's just through those corners and in the braking zones where he's going to lose out a little bit over the GT3 cars. Top speed wise, I think it might even be a little bit quicker. It's certainly a quick car. Is the Cup car in a straight line. It's just getting it to the point where you can fully plant that loud pedal and take advantage of the horsepower and get to that top speed.
It seems like he's getting a little bit of sideways into the corners. So no aids, pure driver instinct. So it's definitely not going to help him through this 24-hour race. Definitely.
Coming down to the last, under 20 seconds, so most of the drivers will be virtually on their last laps now. We are seeing a few people improving, which is always good to see. But Cox he's in P11 at the moment, and in the unmarked Honda, and he's going to be starting. He started his last flying lap as the clock has hit 0, so they are all now on their last laps. And it'll be interesting to see who can make any difference and whether anyone can beat that 2:17.8 of Regan Mitchell from Simsport Racing International. We have got 4 cars in the 2:17, so I just need 2 more to get into the 2:17s just to make my prophecy come true.
Bagsy not it.
2:17, you struggle to do that round Mazzano, Chris.
Oh, et tu Brute, et tu.
Just a few people in chat shouting out for their teams. Always good to see. The more chat, the better. And if we get plenty of chat, Chris will supply the pizza, as he's already said. He pays commentators with pizza, and we count the YouTube chat as commentary. You're all part of the team.
Oh dear. So I've been quiet for a little while I type things and find out who's qualifying tomorrow for Simsport Racing. It's actually Kieran. I'm surprised you didn't know that, Steve. He's a good close friend of yours, is he not?
No.
All right, fair enough. Has he got any friends?
Kieran's got lots of friends, yes he has. No, Kieran is a great driver. Kieran is a quick driver, and it'll be interesting to see how he does. We've seen Kieran pull off some fantastic qualifying sessions before, but as we've said already, we're up against some stiff competition in the servers, and there's some the times are very, very close. It's good to see, and it's promising, I think, to be a really good race this weekend, as most of the cars now are pretty much back in the pits. We're seeing 720, if I can just find him. There he is. He's yep, they've all gone back to pits. So that is the end of qualifying today, and we will be back tomorrow evening. Do you think we'll have some result sheets for tomorrow evening, Chris, to show the viewers?
I'll be honest, it's doubtful. Because of the way that our calculations work, we need all the teams to be there. But as soon as we do have the entry list ready and the grid, we will publish a list that we will might even share with you, Steve, so you can show it to the viewers on Saturday.
They would really appreciate that, and it would give me some time to fill as well. But no, thank you very much everybody for joining us this evening for our 2 sessions of qualifying. We will be back on air tomorrow evening, I'm sure you're all pleased to know, at 7:10 again, and we will pick up with the first part of practice, and then we will again have 2 qualifying sessions for you tomorrow evening, and they will all be streamed live with myself. Chris, I believe you're going to be with me tomorrow evening?
Fortunately for you and the viewers, yes.
Brian, will you be with us tomorrow evening, or have you had enough this evening?
No, I'll be here tomorrow evening as well. I'm waiting for that pizza, so I have to be here.
If you're waiting for that pizza, mate, I think you might be here for a few more streams to come.
Oh, so we've got him for the full 24 hours then.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say full. I'm going to help out, but I wouldn't say full 24 hours.
Yeah, but you're not leaving until you've had pizza, so...
I don't think Brian could eat a full 24 hours worth of pizza. But anyway, like I said, thank you very much for joining us. We will be back tomorrow evening, same time, 7:10 on the Simsport Racing International YouTube channel. So please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our streams. Good night from us. See you tomorrow.
Good night.